Summer 2021, my wife and I opted to sell our house and try to just take advantage of all that was going on. In the middle of that, of course, when we moved, started going through boxes and unpacking, packing, all that, and found a drawing I did back in 2008 while I was sitting in a class in college of the pedal board I wanted to build out. I don't remember why I decided to draw it, but nowadays there's websites you can use, like Pedal Train's website. There's Pedal Playground, but that didn't exist then. So I drew it on a piece of paper and I wrote prices, and I wrote down like if I bought it used, maybe where I saw it, like eBay. I saw a lot of stuff on eBay, and I just wrote that down and I drew it out the way I thought best I could. Because that's what I really wanted. I was really stoked on it. So like I had all these inspirations for pedals that I wanted, and I just drew them down. And I found that sheet of paper a couple of years ago, and I was not looking for it. I was like, whoa. So to me, I don't know, it's just really cool. It's like the beginning, like this is everything Bradford wanted right at the beginning. And I was like, I'm going to build out this board today in modern times. After what I normally use, what else is available, I found a lot of these pedals. Either I had a couple, one or two, and then I found more of them online. And I did take some liberties we'll get into, but I wanted to do it for a couple reasons, just to fulfill the dream, but also to see how it stacks up. So sure, it's kind of fun, but it's totally a YouTube video at the same time. I have almost everything on that piece of paper except the Boss chorus. Clearly I was obsessed with Boss because I wanted like 3 or 4 of their pedals. So we're going to a local shop, Harry's. I don't make it to shops around here that often. It's probably more so because I wouldn't be able to control myself. But we're going to go pick up chorus pedal. This is why we're here. There's 3 different chorus pedals right here.
Yeah.
Now on my drawing, I have one with 4 knobs. These have 4 knobs. I don't remember which one I would have wanted. I know that I was going to stick to the drawing, but I have a greater chance of using this after the fact. So we're going to go with the CE2, the Waza. I'm calling it audible. I'm not going to follow the picture to the letter. I'm going to help little Bradford out. When I say little, I mean 18-year-old, 19-year-old Bradford. You're not gonna believe this. First off, Mike at Harry's. No guy named Harry owns it, I found out. So first off, just because he's nice, you should go visit them. However, also, we just did a video on Revolta not too long ago, and we walked in and we were telling them who we were. We wanted to be nice and ask permission before shooting. And they went and looked us up as we came back out to get the camera. And he saw that the most recent video we uploaded was the Revolta video. And he was just unboxing the new series of Revoltas. They weren't really calling them like 0.2, Mark II, whatever, but the ones we put in the NAMM video, if you want to check that out. Anyways, if you're local to Raleigh area and you want to check out the new Revoltas, you should come to Harry's, check them out. They also have Yamaha, Revstar. They carry some SE stuff from PRS. They carry G7 Capos as well. They got some great stuff. GHS pedals. They got Earthquaker Devices pedals. Lots of good stuff. So check out Harry sometime. So we now have all the pedals, and we're just going to begin the process of putting this all together. The drawing showcases a layout that I don't think would work too well. Even now, this may not work too well. I got big feet, and if I wear boots, it's game over. But laying them out in a way, the order is semi where I want it, I think. We'll see as we get rolling. I do want to address one thing, though, because I didn't even bring this up earlier. I had on the drawing this pedal, if you're familiar. This is not the original one. This is a Visual Sound Route 66. If you know anything about this pedal, and if you know anything about this pedal, the overdrives are both Tube Screamer-esque influenced drives. And what is this? So, young Bradford wanted 3 Tube Screamers on his board. He didn't know what he was talking about. I had no idea. I suppose if 3-2 screamers works for you, knock yourself out. We're swapping out this for the Keeley compressor, the 4-knob, and then the Rat, just to give it some... I know for sure back in the day when I first was doing this, I thought about getting one of these. So I did try this about like 2010 and thought it was awesome. Everything sounded so good. I didn't know how to use a compressor, and I'm looking at this now and I'm not even sure what the clipping does, so I'll have to look that up. But I think probably it was just because when I put it on my board, it made my whole sound louder. And typically if it's louder, our ears think, oh, that sounds good. It may, but it may just be more volume. Creation does good boards. They wire. They don't do it as often. They don't talk about it as much. But if you're interested, they'll wire you up a board. They this is their board. John graciously sponsored this video. Creation. John is the owner of Creation, so go give them a shout. We got some cables and the board and a bag. We'll show you the bag. The bag is pretty awesome. If you're looking for like a bag similar to mono, like the Approach, if you like that, kind of like a hard, soft case kind of thing. Good price. Should check out their bags at least too. I'll tell you right now, none of these pedals I chose because I tried them and I was like, this must be part of my canvas. I just thought they looked cool, or I saw them on other people's boards and I was like, oh, okay, sick. These two, the Full Drive and the DL4 in particular, were really, I just saw people had them on their boards. And I don't know why I thought the Full Drive was one I needed. I really don't know. Because even today, I think it's pretty safe to say I couldn't tell you that, like, when I hear a record, I'm like, man, that's some Full Drive tone, I bet you. I can't do that. When it came to the Pog, though, that was 100% John Mayer. He used it on his song In Repair on Continuum. So I was like, man, I need one of those pedals. And now I love my Pog too. I use it all the time. But whether or not I would have ended up using it like I do today, I don't know. It's a massive thing and there's no presets. There's no MIDI. Oh no, if it doesn't have MIDI, it's no good. RV5, this beautiful deal jobby. I know that Johnny Buckland of Coldplay used one of those, and I thought it was freaking sick. Sonic Stomp, I think even with all of today's technological advances, still don't think anybody knows what it does. And I think everybody wanted one because everybody had one. And everybody had one because everybody had one. Philosophical. We're here. We're getting close to finishing the wiring job. And if I can do this without talking, I'd be even faster. So there we go. Clark Griswold moment right here. That was kind of anticlimactic. All right, so we're all wired up. Audio's running, and surprisingly, it's pretty quiet. Power is great. The tremolo did give us an issue. We fixed that. There's a scratchy pot here, but it wouldn't be a board from the early 2000s if there wasn't an Ernie Ball volume pedal in there causing issues. I'm running this board with this guitar. This is the guitar I really wanted when I first started was a Fender 72 thin line. And I had one of those and I loved it. And I sold it just to kind of like move on to other things at one point. But I've always had a hole in my heart for another one. And the wide range humbuckers were what I first cut my teeth on really learning about tone and dialing things in. So at some point I picked up this Nash. They call it a T72. It's got wide range humbuckers. And I love this guitar. For amps, we are using Tonex First off, because it's 2024 and I'm not hauling around 100-pound amps, because the 100-pound amps I wanted at the time, I was a big fan. I had just learned about Andy Timmons, so I wanted to hear about Andy. I wanted the Lone Star so bad. So we're running one of our Lone Star captures on Tonex. And at the time, I also wanted an AC30. I thought that was kind of the thing. I didn't want both. I was like, one of those two would be cool. Kind of was more hooked on the Lone Star, but we're running our Corgera 02 AC30 in stereo. That's what we're doing. So signal chain, real quick for you. Keeley compressor to the full tone wah, full drive, 2-screamer, rat, pog, sonic stomp, volume pedal, tremolo, chorus, from the chorus, stereo out to the DL4 stereo out to RV5, RV5 out to the Tonex. Because the Boss pedals, the jacks are really close together, I had to use 2 lava cables for the stereo part. Sorry, John. You make great stuff. It's not you. It's me. Anyways, let's see how this sounds. Okay. That's like the common ground. That's our thing. None of us are really sports guys. Like, I guess we care is like, oh, it's kind of cool. But like, no, we like talk about like, did you see that one thing on that one dude's board? And so it's like meant that, you know, it's opened the door. I used to feel pretty dumb about that. I got another good friend. I feel like all we talked about was gear. And I was like, is this shallow? I was like, no. What do other men talk about? They talk about sports. And I was like, sports aren't my thing. And if sports can be somebody else's thing, gear and equipment can be my thing with my friends. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, but then there's also times where we get comments on YouTube. This is even more kind of incredible to me, that somebody does not believe in God, or they're not sure if he exists, or something in that vein. And our videos and gear have brought them to the channel. And then not too long ago, early February, I don't know. Why would I want to think this comment is just full of it? It's YouTube, it's the internet. But the exact scenario, a guy said he found our channel because he was looking at a piece of gear and just kept watching, and it helped his heart be softened to the idea that there was a creator. And he said he follows Jesus now. And I, by no way, shape, or form, am gonna take credit for that. I'm just honored and flattered to hear that something we did talking about guitar pedals and something, or guitar, or whichever video it was, led him to believe there was a creator and there was a savior. I don't think it really matters, like, if we have any kind of gear, period. It doesn't. It really doesn't. But when we have it and we spend time and effort looking at details, and I'm gonna make the leap here and say the cheesy connection that, probably gonna cause people's eyes to roll, but you look at your fingerprints and how they're unique from everybody's, and you realize that God did that. No two things are alike. God is a God of the details. And I think that's something that has always inspired me to be better. Not to feel like I have to be over the top. Are you giving your best? There's the cop out of you're lacking creativity if all you're doing is sounding just like the record. But I would argue that learning how to do that it's the idea of learn the rules so you can break them, right? Like, learn how somebody may have sculpted the parts that, by the way, are on a record that's getting played in loads of churches across the world, and you're thinking that you can do better than that individual. That's funny to me. But at the same time, the point here is like, well, sure, you don't have to play them that way, but learn how it's done, and that's how you will learn how to get something out of your pedals. It's been a long, slow journey for me to learn how to do what I do, but all I've done was seek to emulate other artists. And there are times I do something and I could tell you every once in a while, like, oh yeah, it was like a Mayer inspired thing, but many people probably wouldn't realize that. I would, because I remember drawing intentional inspiration and like, yes, I took that idea, but I shifted it to be more what I liked, and it became something a little different. We're all inspired by something. And so one thing I love about the pedals and utilizing different sounds to kind of come up with, or different effects to come up with the sound, is it just shows the details, and it's what helps us get better, and it's what helps us learn. So it's multifaceted. I think learning, that's how you learn how to get better too. It's just trying to figure out how somebody else did something. You break it down and then you can apply those principles. So I love pedals.